Hey guys, and welcome on my first video on YouTube. In today's video I'm gonna be doing a Python tutorial series. So this is the first episode in the series, kind of an introduction showing you how to download Python, install it, and then going into data types and variables. So don't worry if you have never programmed before, because I'm gonna be going over everything slowly and in depth so that you can understand. I recommend that you follow along with everything I'm doing in the tutorial. Pause the video at certain points, rewind if you didn't understand, because it's important you understand this part so that we can move forward to more complex ideas. So obviously the first thing we're gonna do to use Python is to download it. So for that we're just going to go to the Python official website, python.org/downloads. And just click on download Python 3.8.5 or the latest version. So don't forget to download the version suitable with your OS. In my case it's Windows. I'm not going to do that because I have already Python installed in my computer. So once you have done that, it will pop up a message here that it is downloading. After it ends of downloading, you're going to notice an application that looks like this. Its name is ideally Python 3.6 or the version that you downloaded. Don't worry if you have a version greater than 3.6, because almost all of the features that we're gonna discuss are available also on your version. Right, so the first thing that you will notice when running the application is that Python shell here with your Python version in the beginning. So you can run your Python code here, like if we write print a name, like for example my name, this will pop up here an output which is my name. Alright, but we're not going to use that to run our Python code. We're just going to go to file, new file, or Ctrl+N, and then write our code instead here. Okay, here let's take the same example, print Taha, and then save the file with Ctrl+S, and I'm going to save it in the desktop and name it tutorial. Right, don't forget that the Python extension is .py. Right, let's close this and this also. To run our Python code stored in or saved in a Python file, we just go to cmd, just type cmd or command line or terminal, it depends on your operating system, then click. So I'm just going to go to my desktop, cd desktop, and then you're just going to type Python or Python 3, I believe in some operating systems, I believe it's in Linux and Mac, and then followed by the file name, in our case tutorial.py. don't forget the .py, it's very important. And here's the output here, Taha, the same output even if we were in different places. And now we're ready to learn a little bit about data types. So pretty much Python is a fairly basic language in comparison to a lot of other ones. A lot of things that does is more simple than other languages, but it's important to understand the basic data types. So there's 4 main data types in Python. There's a few more, but we're just going to talk about these ones right now. The first one is an integer. So that can be a short form int that stands for integer. Now an integer is any number, so such as 1, 3, 27, any whole number. It could be a negative number as well, like a -5 or 0, those are all integers. Okay, now we have strings. The short form of string is str. Now pretty much a string is anything embedded in quotations. So like this is my name Taha, that is a string. And then we also have something like this. This could be a string. And even that, like this, that would be a string. Although there's a number in here, since it is between these two quotations here, it is a string. So even if I did another number like that, string. Now it's also important to understand that it doesn't matter if you use the double quotations or the single quotations. Sometimes we use the double quotations because inside of our string we want to use single quotations or the opposite, like that. Okay, so these are just a few examples. Now we have Boolean data types. So Booleans are something that evaluates either to true or false. Pretty basic. These are reserved words in Python, meaning that they are in orange and that you cannot use them for variable names. That's gonna be important later on. Just know that they are important words, true or false. And they start with capitals. So for example, if we write true like this, it's not highlighted orange, right? So that's because true in Python, the keyword for that starts with a capital. So true and false. Then we have the decimals, which is a flow data type like this. So anything with a decimal flowing points, so 4.54 or 27.3, anything like that, any decimal number with a flowing decimal point would be a float. Okay, so those are the four basic data types. There's a few more that we will go on later on, but you just have to understand these ones right now. So now that we know these data types, I will give a quick quiz here. So I'm going to put a few things right here, and then I want you to pause the video and go ahead and try to determine what type of data type these things are. So I will go over the answers in a second. Okay, so we'll start with the first one here. Hello, it's the same example that I have up here except in single quotations. So we can see that it is a string data type. And we have the number 123. That would be the integer data type. We have another number here that has a decimal point. So 3.22. That would be a float. We have the keyword true. This data type is a Boolean data type. Then we have two in quotations. This is very important. We don't want to get this mixed up. This is a string. Some people may think that it's an integer because it's two, but no, it actually is a string because it is inside the quotations. And then same thing here, 3 inside of the double quotations. Again is a string, a non-integer. Now that we have an idea of the basic data types, I'm gonna show you how to create a variable. So pretty much you may have heard of variables before in math or something like that. In math we tend to use x as a variable. We say x may be 7 or 5, anything like that. It's the same thing in Python. Now the creating variable in Python is very easy. All you have to do is type the variable name. So in this case I'm gonna use name and then simply give it a value. So this value, as you may remember, is a string. This is my name and I'm storing it in the variable name. Now if I want to access this variable, I want to see what that variable is. I can print it to the console by simply typing the variable name, which is name. So now we will see what happens if I run the program. So I forgot to tell this to you, but to run our program stored in a file, we can just go to run module or simply just click F5. I'm going to use F5 from now on. Right, that's the thing, and you can see it prints out Taha. Okay, now say we did that, we have name equals Taha, or printed it to the console. Now maybe we want to change that variable. Well, it's very easy again. All we have to do is just type the value. And now maybe we're gonna change it to John. And now we want to see what the new variable is. So we will print it to the console, or print name. Click F5 to run that. So as you can see here, Taha and then John. So like we have here, name equals Taha, print name, name equals John, print name, right? So you say it like that. Okay, so that's pretty basic. Now you can create variables of different data types. So for example, if we had a variable here, I would use an integer data type. So like 2020 for that variable, and then again if I wanted to print to the screen, I would say print and then the variable name, like that. Let's run this. Okay, 2020, perfect. Right, so we print that to the screen. Okay, so there's a few restrictions on variable names. So here you just see I've used lowercase letters. Your variable names can contain underscores and they cannot contain dashes. They can only contain underscores, text, and they cannot start with a number, I believe. So if I try to do one name equals two, for example, I ran into an invalid syntax, as you can see, because we can't name a variable starting with a number. Now I can end it with a number or inside it, no problem. And another note is we cannot use reserved words in Python for naming variables. Here's a full list of reserved words in Python. I could do name underscore person, but I can't put something like a star in my variable name. You see how we have got an invalid syntax there, right? This is because these symbols represent something else in Python language. So just know, for names, we can use capital letters as well, as if we would like, I could use name like that, but I cannot start it with numbers as I have already said, and it cannot contain anything other than underscores, texts, and numbers in or at the end of the variable name. Now here's a quick and quiz for you. If I make a variable called name like that, and do another variable called name with the lowercase letters, are they the same thing? Now that's a good question. Are these two the same thing? No, they are not the same thing. So capitals don't matter in Python. The all capitals variable name is different than the variable name. That is because Python variable names are case sensitive. So again, name, this is different than all of those variables. Okay, so I think I've covered a little bit on variables and data types. So today was just for the complete basics. Just wanna get everyone caught up. In the next video, we will go into some more advanced stuff. Maybe operations of variables, adding them together, subtracting, multiplying, Boolean conditions like that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video today. Stay tuned, we're gonna have another video soon. Like the video if it was good, subscribe, and thank you for watching.